Happy Halloween, and... Sorry, say it again.
Happy Thanksgiving, and welcome to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain.
Happy Thanksgiving, and say that second part again.
Okay, the name of the show is Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain.
Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain.
Beautiful. Give it one more go, just try to string the whole thing together.
Okay, you can just say it without the walkie-talkie. We've got the camera up, so.
Okay, then I'll do that.
Alright, so say it one more time, just so I know.
Okay, so it's Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain.
Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Count Gauntly's Horror from the Public Domain.
Perfect.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain. I am your host, Count Simon Gauntly, and each episode I'll be leading you on a journey through the history of film. Specifically, we'll be exploring that eldritch abyss known as the public domain. These are films forgotten by time or abandoned by their creators. The strange, the horrifying, the poorly and cheaply produced. All of these are the purviews of the public domain. So what are we waiting for? Come, join me in my crypt. It's bigger on the inside. Come, join me.
There lived a man so long ago, Count Gauntly was his name. His horror host abilities had brought him wide acclaim. The people flocked from miles around each Gauntly movie night, not knowing that the films he showed infringed on copyright. Upon discovering this fact and learning it was true, an angry mob of lawyers formed with pitchforks, torches too. They tracked the Count and sought to stop his movie hosting ways, and torches blazing put an end to Gauntly's earthly days. But our man was too resilient to let death be the last word. He sat up upon his slab and vowed he must be heard. So he stocked his tomb with gadgets from the local studio, intent on showing movies on an awesome TV show. But he had to find a legal way, so Gauntly racked his brain. 'Twas then he learned of something called the public domain. Now here he is, the time has come, his dreams are coming true. Count Gauntly's here to share a film in hopes that you won't sue.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to Count Gauntly's Horrors from the Public Domain. Believe it or not, this is year number 5 that we've been doing this. Sort of year number 6 if you consider that our very first pilot episode we uploaded online was a Thanksgiving episode. We talked about how to carve various cuts of meat in an educational short. And we had a year where we cooked a black chicken, then a beaver, classic. Then a year where we had octopus. Then we had a year where it was an eel. And we always just try to bring that monstrous menu to the table. In that spirit, I've been invited to a special venue. You'll notice we're somewhere that you haven't seen us before. We're here at Room Escape Fairfax. It's home to numerous escape rooms where you must solve a series of puzzles to get out of the room. It's located at 3949 University Drive in Fairfax, and you can learn more about them online. The room that has drawn my attention today is the Frightful Feast, home to this vampire gentleman right here who has invited me to share my repast this year.
I am the vampire. Welcome to my kitchen and my associated rooms. We've got some food here for hopefully a good Thanksgiving, and we've got skate and squid.
So we've got our skate wing here, nice and fresh, and you got to be careful with these. Got to put on some heavy-duty gloves because it's very spiky, easy to meet a rough end on those little barbs, little teeny tiny prickly things. And yeah, if you just run your hand, you know, the one way it's nice and smooth, but if you run it the other way, it's nasty. So you're gonna have to skin that. I'll show you a little bit more detail in the preparation process. But now, to draw your attention to the main course right here, I've got some real juicy cuttlefish right here, big and nasty, as well as an enormous squid there. Very big, very large. Now, in the second episode that we ever did, first one to feature Ogrod on screen, we had a squid rather like this. We used it to make the monster. This year, though, we're going to cook it up. We're going to have a little nosh. And so, I turn you over to that magical footage. Although, actually, first, how do you feel about this this meal here? You know, it's just us so far. You got anybody else coming?
I think we have a zombie coming, and we also have that dang wolf. I hate him, and the zombie hates me, so this might be a pretty interesting meal.
All right, well, I would expect nothing less from a Gauntly Thanksgiving, so I'm going to hook you up with some preparation footage while the vampire rounds up some guests, hopefully. Enjoy. So we've got our skate wing here. You'll notice I've got some protective gloves on because it's covered with these tiny little spikes all over it, like little spiky teeth. And you just want to be careful of those. Avoid some nerve damage. You know, stingrays can be dangerous, so we're taking every precaution and sparing no expense. You're going to want to remove that spiky layer with a, yeah, you see how it's like peeling even at the gloves? You hear that? So you need to dig in under the layer of the skin with either pliers or a sharp serrated knife or a cleaver. You see I got a purchase there on the skin. And you just want to cut that layer away until you have a nice fillet, as you'll see I've prepared over here on this side. And there's some nice clean meaty goodness. That's what it should look like after you remove that layer. Then there's also a little bit less dangerous lower layer of this smooth skin that lies on the ocean floor. You're going to remove that in the same way, either with pliers or a cleaver, and you'll get to see me do that in just a second. Alright, so I'm using a knife under the lip of the skin and hopefully going to get a purchase here. Gradually cut it away. See there? Ideally, it'd probably be good to have like a filleting knife, but you work with what you got. So I got a knife now, it's got some teeth on it, and I'm just going to keep removing that layer. You see I got a fillet underneath. Going to hopefully get it nice and clean for our esteemed guest at the feast. And so I'm going to keep trucking on that. And in a minute or so, you'll get to see the finished results. Okay, so I got the skin off. I'm gradually peeling it away. Bit by bit there. You want to make sure you have a good purchase because this is pretty slimy. But it looks like it's working out reasonably well. Alright, I'm going to make one last cut, but that's basically it. And then we'll take the fillets off in just a second. Got my fillets here, more or less, as best I could. You know, it's more an art than a science. But I got some big chunks of meat here, and I'm going to dredge them in the flour. So that's a fancy word for cover them in the flour. And so let's see what we can do in that regard. Just plop it on down there, flip it over. The same on the other side. Okay, so I've got the flour on there. I'm going to do it to the next couple pieces and just put them into the pan here. Frying pan, I got a tablespoon and a half of butter in there. Do the same with my other fillets. Dust them on one side, dust them on the other. Get them into the pan. And this one. And then you want to cook each side, fry it in the pan about 2 minutes each side until it's golden brown on the one side, then we're going to flip it over. I've got kind of an assorted clump over here that I'll do my best with. Let's get it nice and dusty. Hope it'll stick together as we fry it up. Okay. Taking that nice, satisfying sound. Watch your clock. I'll start poking at it momentarily because this is a pretty light, flaky meat. You know, sort of like other fish as well. But since this is flat and thin, it's going to cook pretty fast, especially if it's hot. This smells pretty good. Shortly we'll be making some tomato and caper sauce we'll be putting on there. Add to it even further. Make a nice garnish. Alright, now we're going to flip our pieces bit by bit as best we can. There we go. And then we'll get 2 minutes on this other side here. And you know, there may still be a little bit of a cartilaginous skeleton inside there, but that'll just add to the experience. Make it a little gummier and help build up your nose and your ears. Okay, now that we've done 2 minutes each side, we're going to take out our fillets. You can hear that nice sizzle. Plate up over here as best we can. There we go. They make the pans so slippery these days. It's hard to even pick anything up. But there we go. There it goes. So we've got our rest of our butter, the other tablespoon and a half in there now, and we're adding our shallots, which are going to cook for about 3 minutes until they're soft.
It's going to give everything a really good smell, but it might make you cry a little bit. And then after a couple minutes of that, we will add some capers, as well as some tomatoes. Get nice and soft in there. Just gonna wait a minute on that. We'll add our capers. And with all this stuff in here, you're gonna want to go about 2 more minutes. It's kind of adding a fishy smell a little bit. And we're going to add some tomatoes to that as well. Nice fresh tomatoes. And if I didn't say, you want to have about a pound of skate meat for this recipe. 16 ounces, that's about what you get in a nice big wing that you might find at a grocery store that sells those sort of things. Just going for a nice mix here. It quieted down a lot when I put in the tomatoes there. I guess that's just because it's got more things to get hot now. We're just going to kind of mix that up, cook that for about a minute and a half more. Get it in the mix and put it on our meat.
Now.
Okay, so I've taken my fillets and put them into a pan here, and I'm going to liberally apply this sauce here. There we go. Give you a nice view of that in just a second. Just make sure you get it on all your meat there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, and it smells very good. Okay, that's our skate wing with tomatoes and capers. So I've got a big main course here, big old squid, and its close cousin, the cuttlefish. We got to start by cleaning them, so we're going to do them both the same way, roughly. You can grab in one hand the tentacles here. You see we got all these. And then you grab the other hand around the bell here, and you just sort of pull them apart. It says a gentle twisting motion should do it. Let's see if that actually holds true. There we go. There it goes. So I looped a finger inside the bell. It seems to give me a little bit more purchase. There it is. Okay, come on. So something you have to be mindful of here. Well, a couple things. One is there's a thing in there. There it goes. There it goes. There it is. Beautiful. So now you'll see we've got our head there. See the eyeball? And the innards, all the brain case, all that good stuff. And then this dark compartment here, you see it's oozing a little bit. That should be the ink. I'm going to try to get that out as best I can in just a second. Got the bell here, this big bad boy. We got a pretty good squid, I think.
And then another piece you want to get out. You got it right here. Try to keep it all as one piece. It's this rigid cuttle bone that you don't want cutting anybody's mouth. It's almost got it. It's making some good squelchy sounds. There it goes. There we go. You see. Reach up in there, see if we got any more of that mess. Nope, seems nice and clean. And the recipe recommends cutting off that layer of membrane here, but it says you don't have to. You know, just preserve that color, preserve the essence of squid. Probably rinse it off a little bit because it does have like some barnacle things, but yeah, you want the full experience. Okay, next you're gonna cut. We have our big honker. Gonna cut off the tentacles from the head because you don't want all this, all these entrails. Gonna cut just beneath the eye. So I took a big old knife as best I can. Gonna cut through, remove those tentacles. There we go. And then the game plan is going to be that we want to chop up those tentacles, and we're going to place them with some breadcrumbs, make a stuffing. We're going to use that stuffing almost got it. If you ever had calamari before, I mean that's what this is, and you'll know that it's a little tough and chewy, which means it's hard to chew through, it's hard to cut through. Almost got it though. Almost. There it goes. Alright. So now you see we got our tentacles there. You see? Long, and they got all the suckers on them there. Alright. And this is the cuttlefish. Very closely related. It's already dripping ink, so I probably already busted the sack on that one. You see there? Got lots of ink. But it's supposed to have good flavor and adds kind of a spooky color, which is good. This is a little bit more rigid. It's got more of a hard structure in the bell than a squid, but we should be able to clean it the same way. Almost. Boy, look at that. Oh boy. Come on now. Come on. Whenever you're working with fish, you got to be conscious of, you know, barbs. There's a tendency something will come out and stick you, which seems not to happen as much with mammals unless you're cooking like a platypus or something. But there we go. We got the bell off of there. I still feel a big bone in there that we'll have to cut in and get out, because you know cuttlefish, they got the really pronounced cuttle bone. I actually didn't even know that squid had them too. But here's our tentacles. You'll locate the eye, that milky purple Cthulhu eye there, if you can see. And you'll cut the tentacles off just below those eyes. Okay, and the other one. There we go. All right. We got our entrails there. Lots of ink. Is it still rolling? All right. So the last thing you want to get is there should be a beak in there. I gotta look into how to get out. I think it's this thing here. Yep. At the center of your tentacles, you should have like a mouth, like a parrot-like mouthpiece in there. Just kind of yoink that out, because you don't want anybody chomping down on it. And you'll see we got a nice clean ring of tentacles there. Beautiful. Some longer than the others, but it takes all shapes and sizes. And you're going to do the same thing to your squid. Get that beak out of there. That central bit. Almost. It's pretty tough. Here it comes though. Okay. Beautiful. Ooh boy. Oh man. Look at that. Can you see that? It really is. That's nasty. That's what you don't want people eating. On the cuttlefish, it was a little downplayed, but look at that thing. Yeah, let's see. That is just brutal. There's one half of it. See how sharp that is? And here's the other, the top mandible. Here. There we go. That is nasty. I'm gonna save that for later and show Ograt. Just a second. You see that? That is nasty. There we go. So you want to make sure that that's out of there. So what you're seeing now is sort of an explanation as to why it's not going to be intact when we're quote-unquote stuffing it, because I'm trying to get the cuttle bone out of there and it is just enormous. But if you have like a pet parrot at home, they like to gnaw on cuttle bones. Almost got it here. There it goes. Hey, and I may even be able to save the skin here because it looks like it's coming out nice and clean. There we go. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Here is the cuttle bone, and it's pretty hard. But there it is, nice and clean. Salvaged all our skin here with our massive eldritch ink just oozing out there. That's probably enough to, you know, just oil them both up with enough of the ink that I won't need to salvage it from that squid there, I don't think. So I'm going through and just kind of in an impromptu fashion making sure I don't get my fingers in the mix. I'm chopping up these tentacles using some scissors, just to, you know, they say to taste when you can get a little loosey-goosey with the measurements, and that's what I'm doing. Just kind of hacking off bits as we are wont to do. And then we're going to be putting these chopped bits into some breadcrumbs, making a stuffing of sorts, and that's going to be what we fill our squid bells with, sort of like, you know, sort of like stuffed peppers. And for those not in the know, the rings that you usually use with calamari come from sawing up the bell there into rings, just kind of layer by layer like an MRI. And yet we're going to keep those pretty much intact today as best we can and use them as the stuffy. We're going to be the stuffers. Stuff them with the meat that we're cutting up right now. So we've mixed together a whole hodgepodge of our ingredients here. We've got breadcrumbs, eggs, milk, parsley, onions, garlic, tomatoes, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. We've just mixed it all up here. We've also put in some green olives. And we're going to add our chopped bits to that. So we got all our tentacle bits right here. Just kind of get those into the mix. There we go. Beautiful. You could probably chop it up a little finer if you got more time or care a little bit more, but you know how we do. So now you're going to take by hand, you're going to mix all this stuff up together. Just get it nice and mixed. This is taking me back to when we made the prison loaf wedding cake for Ograt. Just kind of pat all that good stuff in there, get it real mixed up. And then this is going to be our stuffing for our bells. We're going to take this and in clumps just get it into our squid bells. And at first I was concerned there wasn't going to be enough to fill them up because they're pretty big. But you know what? Can you see that? You can come on in a little bit close. I'm going to just start filling it up with the mush. Okay, as best we can. Just get that in there. Okay. Get nice and compact, like a sausage casing. Filling it up there. Beautiful. This recipe calls for about 3 pounds of squid or cuttlefish. And so I got 1.5 pounds of each one. Just kind of one good size one from the market each. Decent sized cuttlefish, decent sized squid. And voila. So I've almost got that one filled up. There we go. I'll add even a little bit more. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Okay. See how it's nice and full there? Now I'm going to see what I can do with this extra oily one over here. That may even still have some bits in there. Grab that on out. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's a fish. It's covered in ink, an entire fish that it had eaten. Now here it is. For you here at Gauntly, a little bonus. Look at that. You see the fin there? Wow. Check that out. Can you see that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, you see all the little spines. It's a completely intact fish. Head to tail. Didn't even have time to digest it at all. Wow. So I put the bells here in a pan with some parsley and some butter and some oil. It's sizzling here. You're going to want to cook each side of them for about 4 minutes till it's buttery and brown. And just trying to keep it as together as I can. I'll be flipping it pretty soon. Alright, so it's been going for about 3.5 minutes aside. We're losing some of the structural integrity of our cuttlefish here. We'll see what we have to do about that. But I'm going to flip what I can as best I can. And there it goes. Look at that beautiful color. That beautiful squid footage. You'll see the mash inside has started to firm up there. Gain some color as well. So I'll give it 4 minutes on this side too. And I'll also at this point add some white wine Get it ready for a long half-hour simmer. And you'll notice, just like when we added the tomatoes earlier, it got quiet all of a sudden because it's got to cook through that new stuff that we just added. Get it up to temp. All right. So we got white wine with our seafood, as usually makes a good pairing. And I'll check in with you about a half hour when it's all simmered and good to go. Whoa. Hey there, Mr. Werewolf.
Hello.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Oh, you sound like a jovial fellow. So, did the werewolf, well, you are the werewolf, did the vampire meet up with you out there?
He did. He invited me here. He could have been a little nicer about it, but that's okay. I like him anyways.
Well, that's good. This is all about the spirit of conviviality, you know, joining together to give thanks for the bounty of nature. Eat some good food here in the Frightful Feast.
You know how I feel about good food.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have gestured it better myself. And we've got our food in the oven right now. Our prep is drawing to a close, so you get to see that finished meal very shortly. And we'll get to share it. So far, our crowd for dinner is not huge, but that's all right. We only have a small table here. Anybody else you got on your roster that we might be able to invite?
I would hope the zombie would be able to join us. I don't really like him, but three's a crowd, that's what they say.
Yep, and that's what we're looking for, is a crowd, right? So, gotta go track him down, maybe. And while the werewolf searches for that zombie to round out our frightful foursome, I'm gonna queue up a movie of some sort related to monsters and food. There's no way to escape it.
I'm Bill Johnson. Around here, they just call me Dad. I've been trying to read, but I just can't seem to do it. I keep thinking about today, Thanksgiving Day. We Johnsons had a good Thanksgiving, the best we've ever had. And I can't help thinking that what made it better was a real feeling of thankfulness. And that's odd, too, when you consider the shape things were in when I got home from work yesterday. Kids, Dick and Tommy and Susan, were all home from school. And of course, Mother and the baby were there. As kids will, mine were living tomorrow right along with today, looking forward to Thanksgiving. And like most men, I'm glad it was Mother instead of me who had to break the news to them.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Turkey and dressing and pie and cake.
And fruit salad and whipped cream and cranberries. Gee, I can hardly wait. Me too.
Well, you know, children, we've had a lot of expenses this month, and, well, your father and I thought that... Well, the truth of the matter is, there just won't be any turkey this year.
No turkey for Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm going to make a pumpkin pie. We'll have plenty to eat, but, well, we'll just have to get along without turkey.
Mom, you don't mean it. It won't be Thanksgiving at all.
Even the pilgrims had a feast. After all, isn't that what Thanksgiving's for? I don't think it's fair.
And it was right there that I came in, right in the thick of it. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Pop.
Hello, Mother, Dick, Susan. Well, what's been going on around here? What's the matter with everybody, anyway?
Mom says we're not going to have any Thanksgiving. No turkey, no good thing.
A fat lot we're gonna have to be thankful for.
Oh, I don't think you kids really mean that.
We do too. We've always had turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yes, and everybody else in the block's gonna have it this year. Same as always.
Yes, we've always had turkey, just as a lot of Americans have had it, and we'll keep on having it. Turkey on Thanksgiving's a great American tradition. But what you kids are saying makes it sound as if the turkey's the only thing we had to be thankful for.
Well, gee whiz, no, Dad. It's not that at all.
Oh, I know, Dick. With turkey, it's easy to lose sight of what Thanksgiving really means.
And don't think we're just making excuses because we don't have any turkey this year. We know it'll mean a lot more to us the next time we do have it.
Well, sure. Suppose we don't have a bang-up feast. We're still a lot better off than the Pilgrims.
That's it, Dick. Do you other kids see what Dick's trying to say? Turkey or no turkey, we've still got all the freedoms and privileges the Pilgrims gave us. And out of those privileges have come a lot of things. Things the Pilgrims never even dreamed of.
Why, we could make a list a mile long. Why don't we do it?
Now, hold on a minute. You've got the idea, but it isn't something you can write down like a grocery list. You've got to feel it down deep before you can really be thankful for anything. I tell you what let's do. Let's take a little more time to think this over. When you get right down to it, there are some pretty tough decisions in making up your mind what means the most to you. Your life? Sure, that's one thing you can't get along without. But do you know that there are some places in the world today where you have to get along without just about everything else?
Golly, Daddy.
I guess I kind of got carried away. But I'll bet you one thing. If we really think over what we have to be thankful for, when we sit down to whatever Mother fixes to eat tomorrow, we'll be one family in America that will really have a Thanksgiving dinner. Well, that's how it got started. The Johnsons didn't have any turkey. And the kids, no, I mean everybody, likes to make something special out of a special day. So we fell back on something as old as the Pilgrims, toting up the common, ordinary blessings that we had to be thankful for. That night, I'd see Dick there building his model airplane, and Susan just playing. Only they weren't just playing. They were mulling things over, thinking big thoughts for such young heads. And as for Mother and Tom and baby Janet, and yes, me too, it was as if we had our eyes open for the first time. Things there were to appreciate in just any ordinary day in America. When we took our places around the table and we were ready. And then, well, we all knew it. There are some things you just can't say. But everybody in his own way knew what he had to be thankful for, and that this was the time to think about it. Tom was first.
I am thankful for getting plenty to eat all the time, with extras that count, like cookies and milk after school. Like Mom says, I'm hungry all the time anyway, and if I didn't live in a country where there was plenty to go around, golly. And I'm thankful for the free public library, where I can get books about adventure. Jack London, Richard Halliburton. Gee, the way they tell a story is as good as being there yourself. And it's free, with only a library card.
Yes, Tommy thought about some of the things he ought to be glad for all the time. And somehow turkey and trimming seemed to matter a whole lot less than he thought they did yesterday. Well, then it was Susan's turn. Susan's a happy-go-lucky kid. You'd never credit her with thinking beyond her dolls, but she got right into the spirit of it.
I am thankful we have what we need to wear. Though Mother says it's hard to keep up with us, we grow so fast. I never thought before how many clothes it takes for all kinds of weather, or how it would be to have to do without the right ones. I'm glad to be able to go to Sunday school, or go to any church I want, any Sunday. I'm thankful for my Mother and Daddy, that they are here with us, that both of them aren't too worried about things to take time to have fun with us. I'm glad we're a family, that families are still important in America.
I guess Dick, being the oldest, was having some pretty serious thoughts.
I am thankful for being able to get an education, for living where schools, all schools, open their doors to a guy who wants to learn. Where school books are studied instead of burned. Where a guy is rated by how much he knows, and the community is rated by how well it teaches him. I'm glad I've got a chance to play, batting a ball around once in a while. Stuff like that. I'm glad it's fun, growing up in America.
Sure, baby Janet's too young to understand the big word Thanksgiving. She's too little even to tell us the things that make her happy. But we can tell, and maybe she's thinking about them now. Maybe she's thinking about the fun of splashing around in the tub, and about how good it feels to be clean. About playtime with Mother, and the security she feels in Mother's arms. And as for Mother, seems she's always working, cooking, ironing, tending children, daylight to dark. What does she have to be thankful for?
I am thankful that my children had the privilege of being born safely and of growing up healthy and strong. I'm thankful that I have the privilege of guiding them as they become useful men and women. And I'm thankful for all the things our American system makes possible for the Smiths and the Browns and the Johnsons. For washing machines, hot water out of a tap, and a telephone to call the doctor when one of the family is sick. A car to get Dad to work. Yes, I'm thankful for all the things free people working together can produce. I'm thankful that when my neighbor drops in to borrow a cup of flour, we've got the right to talk about anything we want to. The parent-teacher project, the new mayor, or Jane Jones' hat. And last of all, I'm truly thankful for the peace of mind that Dad's job brings, for knowing that even though there are lots of luxuries we can't afford, there still will always be enough to go around for the things we have to have. I'm glad Dad doesn't work slave hours, that there are evenings and Sundays and vacations when we can all be together.
That's Mother for you, grateful for what America means to her family. And now for me. I've got so many things to be thankful for. I'm thankful for this house. It may need a coat of paint, it has a mortgage, but it's ours, a place where we can be together in privacy. And I'm thankful for the thing that makes this house our home, the happiness here, not just today or on Christmas morning, but on a day-to-day basis all through the year. For knowing that a knock on our door means nothing to fear. A friend calling, or maybe a bill collector, or a kid selling magazines. You never know what to expect. But you can count on one thing. It's not going to be some political gangster coming to drag one of us off to jail because we believe in freedom. And I'm glad that that freedom we've got lets me choose the kind of work I like and can do best. Taking a sluggish motor and making it hum again. Makes me feel that somebody got to his work, or wherever he had to go, just because of me. And feeling like that gives me a lot of satisfaction. And I'm thankful for my newspaper. Just a few cents worth of printer's ink and paper, but more valuable than any amount of money. Because in it, the editor's got the privilege of printing what he thinks. And I've got the privilege of agreeing with him or not, however the facts strike me. And both of us, the editor and I, have the right to act on our opinions on Election Day, to vote for the principles we believe in. And finally, I'm thankful for being able to believe, in spite of everything, that somehow, someway, the unity we've got here in the Johnson family will someday spread to men and nations throughout the world. For all these things, we are truly and humbly thankful. Amen.
carving the squid here for Thanksgiving. This nice squid stuffed with other squid. You know, some people on Thanksgiving they eat like a turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with a chicken. Well, we got a squid stuffed with a squid. Sort of squid sausage here. Gonna serve it up nice for whenever that zombie and the other monsters show up. Beautiful. Just look at that. Lovely. And as you just saw, we've got our feast, our 5th annual Frightful Feast, plated up here in our new digs for any monsters who might come by to share. You know, they seem to be a little flighty. They come to, people come and go so quickly around here. But we will hopefully have somebody to share. Let's see who else might come in. Oh, interesting. Look at that. Wow. You know, we've had a couple zombies on the show before, but you look like the real deal, if I do say so myself. Wow. You know, the werewolf mentioned you might be showing up.
Yes, but I don't see him around now.
Yeah, you guys are very distinctive. No way we get you mixed up.
I've come to expect the vampire to do things like this, not showing up, but the werewolf is such a good guy, I don't know where he could be.
Yeah, it's surprising that we've been, you know, stiffed by our dinner guests this evening. But you know what? Got some food here, and you know, Thanksgiving is just as much about celebrating food as people. You could do it alone. I did it alone my first Thanksgiving. So just partake of a little bit of this. Tell me what you think. Got some utensils there. I can even cut a little bit off for you there to show my hospitality.
Thank you.
It's a little gushy goomy. There we go, there we go. As I strip all the stuffing away. I'm gonna take a bite. So I got some stuffed cuttlefish here. Gonna give it a try.
I don't like the vampire, but you guys collaborated well on this squid.
Just a little block there. Oh, there we go.
And what is this?
This is some pan-fried sea skate wing, sort of like a stingray.
Barbie.
Yeah, you know, they say you want a breakfast that sticks to your ribs. Also, there may or may not be some cartilaginous bones in here, so. What's it, honestly, what's it like?
I too have some cartilaginous bones within,
Good.
and now I have more because I'm consuming this.
You're welcome to pull those out, by the way.
I'll chew them all up and take them on down.
That's very admirable. Usually Gauntly would do that too, but I think I missed a step on here because I am getting a whole lot of cartilage. What did you get?
A whole bunch of squid.
That's what Thanksgiving is about. You know, You don't need a whole bunch of people, but you do need a whole bunch of squid, right? And a bunch of bones you forgot to take out.
A bunch of chewiness all around.
That's right. And you know what? I think even with our modest gathering here, I'd say it's been quite a Thanksgiving. I'm glad that I journeyed here to the Frightful Feast here at Room Escape Fairfax, home of a variety of escape rooms. And you know what? What's Thanksgiving without a couple surprises? Oh!
Oh my.
What is that? Oh my gosh!
Is that a zombie?
Seems to be a zombie's head. Oh, what does this mean?
Must have been that vampire.
You mean he's like killing zombies on the side or something? How do you feel about that?
I feel not good about that. That seems just like something that Dracula would do.
Oh man.
I can't have this.
Oh
I
wow.
can have this.
Oh man. This is a weird Thanksgiving. Bye, Mr. Zombie. Wow. You know, I sure hope that the monsters can work out their differences and this doesn't fester into an all-out battle. But, well, geez, I guess I'm just back to Thanksgiving for one. But you know what? You're here. That's what really matters. Thanks for joining us again for year 5 of Count Gauntly's Thanksgiving. Pleasant nightmares as always. And for more on the continuing fate of the Frightful Feast monsters, check out the website below. Cheers, everybody. Bye.